had me all confused this morning because I could see chat on the
Yeah.
side.
In the upper left corner to the red there, the timer's running in live. So
Yeah, so now we're live. So we have no Scott this morning. He's in what? Where did he say? Tonawanda?
yeah, he's about an hour and a half from where I'm at.
Towanda, PA. But
Yeah, Wanda. Yep.
he got a really expensive hotel called McDee's, and the internet there is real bad.
He should have went to Burger King.
Right? I'm sure there's a local, well, they're probably not open yet, like a local library, something you could stream from. But he said he will be going live in an hour or so. So we apologize. This isn't on Scott's channel this morning, but I got a few subscribers, so maybe they'll come on over.
Why the hell would you apologize?
I just don't
Just
know.
the kindness of his heart.
Frickin' Scott ditched you.
Nah, he didn't ditch me. You're gonna start something, John. Jeez.
If we could have got Scott's code, we could have just went right on his channel and live streamed from his channel.
You know what? That would have been a good idea, but I don't know how to do that. So
what happens is you log into the StreamYard and he gets text a code on his telephone, and as long as we punch that code in, that's how it works.
Neato. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. There he is.
There he is.
Man, what a morning! Oh my God! I got up at 5:30. I'm like, I'm gonna get to where I'm going. I have plenty of time to set this up. Road construction fog. Their Wi-Fi won't support streaming. My iPad's dying. Yeah, a lot of fun this morning.
So it just won't support streaming if you're the host on that, apparently, because you are streaming.
No, I'm connected to my iPad.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I had that kind of day yesterday. First, I deleted a 300 item buy list.
Oh boy.
That I was about to send to my shippers so they could do their job. I had it open on my phone and I was fumbling with something and I guess I pressed delete. I had to do the whole damn thing over again. That's how my day started and it never went any better. Well, today is going to be a good day.
Wait, you know how it is, Sue, when you're trying to guess how far you can get in a day on a road trip. People don't, if you hadn't done one, you don't. I stopped like 80 miles too short.
Well, and I said I was going to go to Chattanooga and Knoxville today, and here I sit, and I got to finish up this shipment.
I started adjusting the schedule and didn't take that into account, and damn it.
For me, it's always I go to more stores than I meant to, or that were on the list. I'm really bad about that. Like, oh, there's a.
Yeah, I did that too. I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here in a little bitty town, middle of nowhere. I'm like, there's like 3 stores I'm going to before I leave this little town. I'm like, damn it.
I'm getting messages already this morning. Holy cow. All right. Took care of that one. Doesn't Dan know that I do a morning show, Scott?
I know
doesn't care.
You don't care.
I was talking to him on the way in.
He's like me. He does not care.
He cursed me with bad luck by talking to me earlier.
Let me turn my phone off so he can't call me.
He'll make the rounds.
He'll still text you. He'll still be able to text you. You just won't be. I got smart. I turned the phone off before the show starts anymore, but it still vibrates, so I can still hear it.
For those of you who never get out and travel, the mess that New York City is. I spent the night last night in Bath, New York. Upstate New York, Western New York is absolutely beautiful. It is beautiful country. It is a beautiful. This side is. If you chop New York City off, New York State is a beautiful state.
Yeah, I grew up there. And when I moved out to Ohio, everybody, when you say you're from New York, everybody assumes it's New York City. I was like, no, I'm not New York City. There's a big.
So it's like California. If you cut the bottom half off, it's a decent state.
Pretty much.
Scott, did you drive into New York City?
No. I'm not going to make
No.
it that far.
Yeah.
Before I turn south. I was on the phone with Dan as he went in yesterday. I'm like, man, there's no way.
Yeah,
It's 2 and 3 hours to get over there through tunnels, over bridges. Man,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't need all that. I don't need all that.
Plus the cost of going through the tunnels and all that.
Yesterday he went through Jersey and then came back over there. He had paid like $70 in tolls for the whole day. It was ridiculous.
Holy Lord.
Who?
Yeah.
Dan,
And that gas.
You want to see tolls, man? Take Big Bertha from Florida to New Jersey.
oh gosh,
Every time you stop for a toll on that 95 going up through Baltimore and Washington and
Yep.
all that,
Yeah.
on the low end it was like $28.
yeah. For those of you, if you're gonna,
Are you? It goes by axles, doesn't it?
oh, he's
I
3
got
axles.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 axles.
Oh, because you're pulling the other car.
Oh yeah, right.
I got 5 axles. It's the same as a tractor trailer.
Yeah, but for those of you, if you travel in the Northeast, get the Easy Pass. Oh my,
What's going on?
There he is.
What are you doing at home? I thought you were going to frickin' Vegas to drop that mother-in-law off.
Yeah, like in probably 40 minutes, we're leaving. Couldn't sleep at all. Just thinking we're going to leave for now.
You're excited, aren't you?
Very sad.
Is your wife watching you?
I was going to
No,
say,
I
be
can't.
careful, John. Don't get him in trouble.
Yeah, too late.
Hey, listen.
Too late.
We're taking them to the Democratic headquarters today.
Yeah, that is true.
They're going up to Vegas to drop his mother-in-law off, and then they're going to swing by here, and we're going to go out to a town called, it's an old ghost town called Oatman, Arizona. And there's jackasses running around in the street.
I was about to ask, what are y'all trying to get for free?
Yeah, I think, John, I'm going to take the GoPro and record a little bit today. All that.
There's one store you can't record in. That's all.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I found a little honey hole up there.
Okay.
But it's a neat little town. They have a gunfight every day at 12:30. There's
Oh
100.
yeah, you taped from there, right, John?
Yeah, there was 100. There's 109 people that live there.
Oh wow.
How many jackasses? Well, you said there was.
Well, I should have sent you. I should have sent you the text that I sent Scott. I'm gonna try and get them. You know how they make that noise. There's quite a few up there actually, Steve. I'm gonna guess. I seen at least 15.
Cool.
I mean,
Here's
there's
some
babies.
trivia. Here's some trivia for you. When I was a kid, I got kicked by one in the thigh. I had a hoof mark in my thigh about that big.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I told because people were walking behind these things. I was like, they do kick.
I
When
got
they
stepped
get
on by a
startled, they
horse.
are going to kick. People had their kids behind them and stuff. I was like, you know, why do we not use our brains?
That was a show they were putting on for the Shriners. Did I hear?
Yeah, that was all the money they raise, they go around and pass the hat after the gunfight. All the money goes to the Shriners. They've raised $101,000 so far this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they're good. They're good. My son was in the hospital in Boston at the Shriners back.
All the people that are in that gunfight thing have stores within the city for an income. They do that. They do that just
Wait
to,
a
you know.
second. Hey, Pat, I think
What?
you're the first one ever.
Well,
Pat
there you
gave me a
go.
super chat for my first one. Thank you.
Grumpy can pay next week.
Let's see what.
Grumpy don't pay.
Yeah, coffee for Steve only. Grumpy can pay next week.
You have to pay me.
I really need some coffee.
Thanks,
Oh,
Pat.
let's
I've
not go
already
there.
I've already spent my
We'll get a whole thing
$2.
going.
There you go.
We'll get a whole thing going if we start
Oh,
talking
that's
about
pretty
that.
cool.
I've only been at 14 Walmarts this week and a few grocery stores or whatever, and I have no coffee filters, but I can never remember to buy myself stuff.
Coffee filters is one of those things that it doesn't matter what store you're in, Sue.
I,
You could go to a vitamin store; they probably got coffee
I
filters.
think I got the last packet in the States now, brand new. And you know, there's 1,000 in there. So you don't need them
Only-
for a while, but when you need them, you really need them.
Only 14. You're not even trying.
Well, I've been in a lot of other stores.
Jeez,
Walmart's been a sidekick for me lately.
I haven't even left my my area, and I've done 5. So
Yeah, I'm almost double digit for single doors. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
who knows?
Are you guys talking about that freaking work thing again?
No.
Oh man.
Oh, so if anybody wants to meet my new shipper, he's going to be on NBC on Monday. It's called The Match, Europe versus the US. His name's Daniel. I won't tell you his last name. You can figure it out. He's the hammer thrower.
So he's on a game show?
No, it's the US or World Championships of track and field.
Oh, okay.
And
that'd be cool.
He leaves for tomorrow for oh shoot, some Russian country or somewhere.
Is he gonna be back on
Belarus.
Tuesday? Is he gonna be
What?
back on Tuesday to work?
No, he's out next week. But man, I got a pallet of boxes in yesterday because Uline had a big sale, which finished on Saturday, I think. So last month I got a shipment in, and I had bought smaller batches from them before, but I bought a huge batch because they were on sale. And I was in bed drinking my cup of coffee, like 5 minutes till 8 in the morning, and I get up and I do stuff online. You know, I check my store, I do all that kind of stuff, and have a couple cups of coffee. And all of a sudden the doorbell rang. I said to my husband, "Are you expecting somebody?" He said, "No." I look out the window and it's the truck from Uline. So I throw a robot into the door and I say to the guy, "Oh, just put it by the back door," which is already on my instructions. I'm like, "There's dollies down there." When I come out a couple hours later, there's this pallet down there. So the dollies didn't do them much good. And my driveway's like this. So I was like, oh, man. So yesterday, the same guy came, but it was like around 10:30, I guess. And I was like, "Oh, last time you came, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Oh, I was thinking I recognized this house, So I gave him a few bucks as a tip because I was like, this is for last time and this time. Because he has to take that pallet jack just down like this and then back up. But he was super nice. But when Daniel got here, my whole pallet was taken apart and put away in 5 minutes. It was great.
Luckily, you don't get no snow. Mine goes a little bit like that too, and get to a certain point, can't even get up the driveway with even a little bit of ice.
Oh, for sure you can in ours because we get ice about once a year.
When you
Yeah.
Kick this guy off, Steve. Kick this guy off. He's talking that nasty stuff. That
Snow.
white stuff.
well, I was going to mention it myself, but I can't kick myself out of the.
But we park up when it's about to snow. My husband will park up at the top so one of us can get out.
We
Yeah.
we picked a house that had a nice flat straight driveway because of that.
There aren't.
One of the
We
reasons.
pay a premium in Atlanta for a flat driveway. There aren't many.
Yeah, weather's crazy. The high here is 72. The high at home is 100.
Oh,
It's actually a cold front came in yesterday.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's a little cooler than, but that's all right. It's comfortable right now.
I think it's like
It's like
90 outside
55.
right now.
Yeah, where I'm at, I'm only an hour and a half away from you, Scott.
it's going to be 93 in
And all I-
Atlanta, but I'm headed to Tennessee.
All I brought was shorts, so that's going to have to do.
Yeah, 54 right now.
It's like
It's only-
90 outside right now.
Yeah. It's supposed to get up to only 72 today.
John, did you get any rain yesterday night?
What time?
Around 7, 8. You were
I
sleeping.
was in bed.
That's right.
You guys don't get a lot of rain there, do you, Chris?
No, but we get the monsoon,
Mm.
which just happened a few days ago.
You
Well,
got a
tell me-
monsoon?
Yeah, it was pretty intense
Cool.
for a couple hours. I was working, delivering. Yeah.
It says we're supposed to avoid, I guess, the hurricane. We're not supposed to really get none of that in the
That's
Carolinas. So, Scott, when you going to be home?
He'd have to unmute
Yeah.
himself. There you go.
Yeah, there's music playing in the background. I don't want.
I don't care.
I got to be home Sunday night. So,
Okay.
because her surgery is Wednesday and she's got a doctor's appointment. I think Monday she wants me to go with her too. Yeah, I'm about to go screaming down the East Coast, so I need to look at the weather.
So let me get this. When she goes, when they wheel her in for surgery, you're going to go hit a couple of stores?
Only a couple. Only a couple.
Hey,
I sit in there and be good.
I did the hospital gift shop when Paul was in surgery.
Yeah, I do the
off
hospital
the
gift shop. I get bored.
Our hospital gift shop still has things in from the 80s, but the place is never open.
Oh, I was going to say that might be some good stuff.
It's staffed by the volunteers, and there are no volunteers. So you walk in the door. Because I live in a smaller area, and so you walk into the door and you see the gift shop, and it looks really nice in there, but nobody's ever in it, so I haven't been able to source it.
It's small. I probably got more stuff in my garage than.
Oh yeah.
If it's still from the 80s, it's probably good stuff.
I was kidding about the 80s, but there's some. I mean, it's the same stuff every time I go in there.
Why then? Have you guys been listing
Not a
or
thing.
just Scott listing? Yeah, I the last 2 days.
I have.
Yeah. Yeah, he's being a wise guy. I got stuff shipped into Amazon the other day and stuff for eBay. So I'm getting back into the groove.
I'm doing good to stay on keto out here. So
Well, you are
I
at a
sold
McDonald's
3
this
pairs of
morning.
shoes this week. I sold a pair of rubberized Keds, like sort of like rubber boots, but they're Keds, to somebody in Florida.
We have Phil in the chat this morning, Groove Master Reseller. He's already getting the plans ready for the next
Yeah,
Nashville Reseller gathering. So it's going to
Yeah,
be.
end of June.
It's in June next year. Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
going to be
June.
sooner.
So we want to keep people informed about that all throughout the year, so that everybody has the same opportunity to hear about it and come. And I think he's going to make it a ticketed event next year, but keep the price as low as possible.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
just for meals, so we can
Yeah.
have a kind of a decent meal next year.
Well,
And
the-
because we did a planning session the other night, and the one thing we all understood was one restaurant, even though the food was bad, we were all together, and that worked out great. The next restaurant, the food was outstanding, but nobody could talk to anybody. So,
right.
Maybe a mixture is a bigger hotel that has where, we can have food brought in so everybody can, because that's the whole deal is,
Yeah, and
Catering.
we kind of
Yeah.
outgrew that lobby at the hotel we were in. So if we have a bigger hotel that's got the meeting room, we can kind of hang out there.
Which would be awesome.
and it's going to be minimal cost. We're going to have sell T-shirts to help offset the cost. Just we don't want any excuse for people if they can get to it not to be there, because it's truly meeting people in person and really experiencing what others do is
Why the
is
hell
what that
would you want to
meeting's
meet
about.
somebody in person?
I wanted to meet you in person, John. I know that's crazy and all.
Yeah, John, I was there looking for you too. I think I drove the farthest out of anybody, almost 15 hours, and you weren't there.
Yeah.
Did
and
I ever
can't
say I
believe-
was going to be there?
Well, I had hopes and dreams.
And then you drove to Missouri after that. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you were a road warrior.
Yeah,
we
I went.
got rid of Obama a few years ago, so the hopes and dreams went with him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did 1,800 miles. Eight. The drive home was a little rough. I wanted to almost stop about 2.5 hours away from home, but
I
at
bet.
like 1 o'clock in the morning. But no, I kept going.
That's all you're driving. I still got 1,455 miles left on this trip.
That's a rookie, though. You got to.
Yeah, well, I'm learning, Scott. I had my car filled with stuff. I probably, to be honest, got enough stuff though that I paid for the trip, so that was all right.
Hey, if you're ever feeling old, go somewhere and eat breakfast at a McDonald's. You will be the youngest person in here.
I did a little experiment. Just stopped at McDonald's in the morning, and every McDonald's has the same. I swear it's the same crew of old guys that travel or something. It's the same.
They're
Every
there
time.
for the 65-cent coffee.
Yeah.
Hey, I might not be the youngest person there.
Oh,
I
you
remember
would
the
be.
first time we went to McDonald's and I ordered a coffee and the lady said, "Oh, senior coffee." I was so insulted.
Yeah, these are your people, Sue.
I went into Goodwill. My beard was a little bit longer, but I have a lot of gray in my beard, so I went into a Goodwill on a Sunday, and that's their half-off day for senior citizens. And every time I go into that store, I get a half-off
We
discount.
only get 10%.
Well, it
today's
might be
dollar day.
10%. I don't know.
Today's dollar day at Goodwill.
Yeah, we don't have
Is
those.
it?
Ooh, yeah, we don't have that.
Where we're gonna have to go. Scott, now that you're in the keto day, what are you gonna have in McDonald's for breakfast?
What I stopped. It's low carb keto. I don't subscribe to that. But one of the Walmarts I picked up some low carb tortillas, and so I just ordered the 2 bacon, egg, and cheese for $4 and took them apart and put them in the low carb tortillas so that I don't eat the biscuit part.
You could still,
Scott,
you could.
tell them to put it on a plate, and they won't even give you the biscuit.
This cashier, when I said 2 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, she looked at me and she said, "You want the biscuits?" I'm like, holy.
Okay, never mind.
You got to remember, he's at a McDonald's. John.
Not put them on the biscuit. We'd had to call the manager, maybe the supervisor. It would have been awful.
Regional
Starbucks has
director.
some egg bites that are really good.
You can eat eggs, right? I mean, eggs is on the keto, right? Yeah.
I can see a Bonanza Steakhouse down the street. Do you think there's a Starbucks in this town?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't say today, but
A Starbucks.
Yeah,
Tawanda, I haven't been there in a long time. It's fairly small, isn't it?
yeah, it's really small.
Yeah, the nearest one is 31 miles.
okay. So
Back
I
to
can
New York.
see the chat, but we can't write in that chat though. I don't see a place.
No, I don't know if he has to give permissions, but we could see it. Yeah, you have to go on.
If you tell me what to do, I can probably
Thrill
do
of
it.
the Hunt said, "Ever since I turned 40, my mail's inundated with hearing aid and AARP advertisements."
Oh, I didn't realize you could see the comments. Well,
Yeah, it's a new. It just rolled out a couple days ago, Scott.
It's awesome. These guys at StreamYard are really working hard, I think,
Yeah.
to make this.
I'd really like to throw a little investment in the StreamYard.
That's
It's a
what I
private.
thought.
It's a private company, and they're
Right.
they're in Canada. I've talked to the kid that does it.
Yeah, they're really doing a good job with.
Yeah, well,
Trying.
he ain't taking my money now. He's too smart.
I was
Oh, man,
very impressed with it from the beginning, and then I thought the same thing. Man, it would be a great little company to invest in, but they really seem to be keeping up on what people are asking for and what people want. So, but I have no idea how to use all the features yet. So if there's something you guys need me to do, I'll try
Hell, I
to
don't
figure it
even
out.
remember to turn it on.
Yeah,
I usually just go live.
I have a 30-day free trial. so I could do some of the features that like you could play a little video clip.
Yeah, Steve, are you using that because the upgraded one? Because I noticed the banners are in color.
No, you can do that without.
The free one. You could
Yeah.
change the banners in different colors while it's live and everything. You could do a
I want to
different
be
background.
red.
You wanna be
Well,
red?
everybody would have to be red.
Yeah, I can
Oh
only
no,
change.
then I don't want everybody to be red. I want to be red by myself.
Yeah.
I can
All right,
make
my
it red.
laptop's down to 10%, so I have to check
Listen,
out.
my goal this week's not to piss anybody off.
See you, Scott. Drive
Good
careful.
luck. Good luck, John.
Your alarm clock went off, John. You probably already made somebody mad.
Scott,
All
I'll call you
everything
later.
will be everything will be normal next week because Tuesday I'll do the show. Wednesday she'll have surgery, and then Thursday I'll be back. It's just her surgery is outpatient, so it's other than the pain she's gonna go through. And then I'll get my normal picture of her in pre-op. Whether I'm allowed to post that or not, I'm generally not allowed. I've got a whole file full of them. But I've got a video that I've scheduled it to go live. Harlan, I videoed the flea market. So if you want to see, there's a bunch of us walking around, and then at the last 5 minutes, it's chickens, goats, baby goats, bunnies, all the farm animals.
Hey Scott, they're asking, is it going to be on your live channel?
I'll do that the week after. It's been such a. I didn't count on. I wasn't planning on this trip, and then all of a sudden it came available. So we'll do it the week after. All right, everybody. Peace out.
Yes,
Out.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, roll tide. It's New Mexico State this week. We don't need any help.
Hey, I wanted to say thank you to Silver Hair Stacker. It looks like I look poor. Okay. Hey,
That's all right.
yes, people, I'm poor. Everybody give a super chat. I need the money. No,
I'm super poor.
don't do that. I've never asked. I've never once asked for a super chat. If you guys want to give it out of the kindness of your heart, I'm happy. But it's not required to be on my channel.
People gave $2. It's $160, Steve.
Yeah, that's good money there.
Oh, I misread that. I thought it was 200.
that's a big cup of coffee.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So
Compton.
my shipment got messed up yesterday. So we had to do 30 ups. I haven't done 30 ups in a couple of years.
wow.
So the three of us are going around the room trying to match crap up. And finally, about almost 6 o'clock, I said, everybody go home. The clothes were the hardest thing. I had to peel some open and scan them. And I got the last few plush because they all look the same. Oh my God.
We've been doing a lot of clothes, and there's a lot of work involved in that. Even just peeling stickers and polybagging and all, it's a lot of work in clothes, even for Amazon. It's not as bad as it is for eBay, obviously, because you don't have to measure anything. But yeah, I think I'm done with clothes for a while. Yeah, what have you? Yeah, we know what you've been doing, John.
Yeah, so UPS came and I'm like, come back tomorrow. And then I went and had dinner with my husband and I had a big glass of wine. I said, screw this, I'll do it in the morning.
I've been working on pissing off my fans. I mean, my haters.
The same, one and the same, right, John?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Listen,
Hey,
They
listen.
take their time to look at your videos.
It's a love-hate relationship. It's a love-hate relationship, guys. It's just how it is.
They even
You
take
got
the
more-
time to do a video about you.
You got more people that support you than don't worry about the little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was, man, I was blown away. I really was blown. I wasn't coming back. The support that I got over the last few days over all this nonsense, and understand, guys, it had nothing to do with anybody on any individual level. It was just a matter of it just wasn't worth it. I'm at a point in my life I don't need all that freaking drama. And it was just getting worse and worse, and the messages and the behind the scenes stuff. I was like, I'll just be out.
Well,
Yeah, you say you got support or whatever, because somebody in one of the channels was saying, on one of the Facebook groups, made some really nice comment that they were really sorry to see you go because they had.
Yeah, I know. I seen a lot of. I was getting messages from all kinds of people. I was like, wow, man.
I'll tell
So
you,
I was like,
John.
I got to do it. So you know what? What helped was I found I was given that video, and I really asked people not to say or do anything, and it got trashed. I mean, that video got trashed, and I feel bad for it. But it showed me what the whole issue was about, and it was about freaking money.
Yeah.
Yet everybody says you got to write a book, and if I wrote a book, I would have sold the book. So what's the difference? So once I found out what it was all about, I was like, okay, I'm over this. So, but yeah, it's listen, I feel that I have something to put out there. I feel like I may not be the best presenter. I'm not Steve.
I'm not a good presenter myself.
Nice, calm voice that there's people out there. I'm more of a right in your face, tell you you're stupid, Dave Ramsey type of presenter.
Well,
if you listen to Dave Ramsey, he tells you if you have debt, you're stupid. I mean, he gets right in your face.
Hey, Grumpy, for $29.95, you can hang out with me for a day, and I'll make you happy.
Yeah, that'll happen.
That'll be part of the pet D's, and
I'll tell you what. I'll bet you $29.95 you end up grumpy by the end of the day.
but you'll never know. You'll never know. I'll be like, forget it.
You may owe him at the end of the day because he might make you grumpy.
I doubt it. I've hung out. John, I think is just misunderstood. He's got a good heart. When I first met him and we did the thing for with Joni and stuff on Scott's channel, I know he's a good guy. So
I want to tell everybody. I mean, John didn't have to, but he invited me to Vegas, and it changed a lot of the things that I do in my business. It's the same when Scott came here. It changed a lot of things, and that experience was more valuable than any money I could ever pay the guy. And I'm sure Chris will agree. The experience of meeting somebody who's out there doing this. And so what if you've been doing it the same way? It works, right? I mean, that was part of the thing. You've been spewing the same stuff for years. Yeah, because it works. And just
Gary Vee says the same words. And every time you turn on Gary Vee, it's the same exact, which made me feel better because I'm showing you that it's exactly what I do day in and day out. It's the same stuff day in and day out.
But if you ever get a chance to even, just meet John in person, first of all, he's maybe not as
I'm grumpy in person.
You're maybe a little bit. Come on, not so bad though. But when you sit down to dinner with John, you're all business. I mean, there's no, this is what we're going to do. We're talking about this, and that's that, right? So that's good. And everything you get a really good understanding of what John does and how he does it just by talking to the guy in person. Even with the webinar and all that stuff, you will learn. If you don't learn, that's your own fault. There's a lot of stuff that John does that sounds very simple, but most of us haven't even thought about it,
If I would have met John 3 years ago, I'm pretty sure that by now I would be rich. And all that money that I spend, because when I got back to reselling, I started watching a lot of YouTube videos. And the truth is that a lot of channels are more show than really showing you techniques and ways to buy and resell. And if I wouldn't spend my money in that type of videos, I mean, buying the things that they were saying and more of what John teach me in one day, I would be in a so different position right now.
I appreciate that. But listen, you do the work. I mean, I showed you a couple of things. We went through a couple of stores, and Scott says this all the time too. All I did was show you a couple of things. I mean, the first thing I did was I picked up a hat and said, "Here, this is good." And you want, yeah, okay. And I'm like, "No, really, it's good. Check it on eBay." And he looked it up and he said, "Damn, it's $35."
Yeah, a simple hat.
And sometimes it's that simplicity that we overlook when we're starting out, or even when we've been in this for a long time. It's the simplicity. Sometimes you got to go back to the basics. And
I just found some soaps, industrial soap for the washing machine.
Are you going to use it?
I was passing through them and I checked them out and it was $2. But I just saw it because it looked like a brick, so I said I'm gonna look it up. And they sell for $40.
yeah, sometimes it's that crazy weird stuff that you never thought, oh, this doesn't have any value, so scan that. Always scan that one you think is different, and that's
I found 6 of those in the same spot.
Nice.
It was nice. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and half the time stuff you go, oh, this would be a great seller.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I spent all day.
Follow the data and not what you think.
Isn't it amazing? You look at something and go, "Oh, that's probably a good seller," and you look it up and it goes, "This thing's a freaking lead balloon."
For those of you who don't know, I just got ungated in Disney and Star Wars. Well, there's more not good stuff out there than there is good stuff. So you have to really get out there and work. Get out there and find the stuff that is good. Yesterday, I found three good items at a store that Sue told me about, and I'll talk to her about that after the show. But but I wouldn't have known had I not talked to Sue, number one, and number two, actually gone there and found the stuff, and it was there. And yeah, it wasn't a huge lot of items, but there was stuff there that I can make money on, and it made my trip worth going yesterday. And it's the same with any of us on this panel. We might give you one little nugget of information, and that sometimes it'll change your whole entire way you do things. Every one of us can do that.
If you get up and go do it. I mean,
yeah, but you got to get up and do it.
People say, "Oh, don't give everything away," but
wait a minute, you got to get off your ass and go to work.
Well, I wasn't going to take your line, John. but most people who watching, it's just like anything in life, like 20% do and 80%, watch maybe.
No, I think I think the numbers are worse than that. I think
Probably.
1% do, and I think it's less than 1% of the actual people that see the stuff will actually do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not easy. The truth is, it's not easy.
I spent all day yesterday sourcing and only came home with 5
my
items.
entire store one time from eBay and gave it to a guy that was struggling, a pastor I know, a friend of mine who was a pastor. I gave him an entire copy of my store, and he says he makes about $5,000 a year from it, but he never was able to get it off the ground. It was an exact copy. I mean, I downloaded it off of eBay. The only thing I asked him to do was change his titles a little bit. We changed the price by 5 cents. In fact, we lowered his price by 5 cents and uploaded it back to eBay. And he was never able to get it off the ground. It's because he didn't do.
It takes sometimes a certain type of, and to be honest with you, I'm not even that type of person, but I want to be, and so that's why I work as hard as I do at it. I'm the kind of guy who'll just sit here and do nothing all day if I can, but because I want to make a business out of this. It's true. I'm lazy sometimes. I'm not going to lie to people about it, but because I want this to work. It's the one thing in my life that I know I have passion about and I will go out and do. And it really just takes a certain type of person or a certain type of mentality, really, not even a certain type of person, a certain type of mentality to get out there and do this. It's not easy, like Chris said. Yesterday we went sourcing. I went to 6 or 7 stores and only came up with like 5 items. I mean, sometimes you're going to have days like that. Now, one of those items is going to profit me well over $100, but I wouldn't have known had I not gone out and done it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a big part of it. You can know everything, but you have to put the rubber to the road. I've been studying this Robert, what's his name? Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
And I found it amazing. Numerous times in numerous videos, he says, listen, there's a guy out there, and supposedly him and Dave Ramsey are friends, that preaches no debt. And he says, if that's what you want, just simple investments and a simple path, he says, go for it. Have a good life. I was really surprised to pick up on that several times. You have to find your path. You have to find your niche. You have to find your lane. Call it whatever you want. You know, Steve came to me in Vegas and said he finally got comfortable enough. At first, he wasn't real comfortable, and he finally got comfortable enough that he told me what he was thinking about and doing. And I showed him a couple of places where he could buy product that he could use and need. And I don't know I know he's working with one of them. The other one I'm not so sure about. But he then went on his own and found other places that carry similar stuff that he could possibly use. He took what I showed him and he went out and did something. That's the biggest problem is we sit here every Tuesday and Thursday giving out lots of golden nuggets that you can glean from us for free, that you can use. The problem is most people will not act on it. And that's okay too. It's okay that if you just haven't gotten started, but you do need to do something to make anything change. You know, I'm an alcoholic. AA teaches me, you know, if I keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results, the only one thing that leads to insanity.
I can tell you, if it wasn't that long ago, I wasn't even able to afford to pay my rent. You know, it was so bad. And of course, with the help of my now wife, we were seeing each other at the time, we decided that, okay, no more McDonald's, no more this, no more that. And you wouldn't believe just one little change in your life, change a habit, change something. Now I own a house. I own 3 cars, you know, and I have a successful eBay and Amazon business that I wouldn't have had without that one little change in my life 5 or 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years. One little change. Quit going to McDonald's every night to eat, you know, that saved me money. I was a smoker at the time, so I started rolling my own cigarettes. That saved me a ton of money. Even with the vape juice, I make my own most of the time, unless it's on clearance at Walgreens, which it is right now. It's just making little changes sometimes can make the biggest difference. And also getting that one little nugget from somebody like John. And I'll tell you what you taught me at ASD, John, was not so much a process, not so much anything. It was confidence to approach people without, you know, being the fear of rejection, without that. And that's what I learned from John, is that, okay, I can do this. You know, John did it. Other people have done it. I can do it too. And that was the biggest lesson I learned from you and Dan and Scott at ASD, is the confidence that I can do this stuff. And yeah, it's slow going, but I will get it. You know, I will get it all done, and we'll be more successful because of it. You don't have to even like John to be able to. I do. I really do. You don't have to like Pat. You don't have to like Chris or Sue or me, but you can learn from.
I don't, but my family does, so here we are listening to him.
But you don't have to like somebody to. There's a lot of people on YouTube I watch who I really don't care for their personalities, but boy, do I learn a lot from them. You know, and even
We'll talk about that like that, Steve.
Even the person that attacked John, you could probably learn from that person. That person has videos out there. Go learn from them. You know, if you don't like what she said about John, look at her other stuff. See if she's got anything there that's worth your time. I don't know. I haven't done it. But I'm just saying, you can learn from people, even if you don't like them, even if you
Hey, I got to see a bunch of my old videos that
So did I.
That I put up.
I had
Forgot
forgotten.
to put them up there.
Your beard was much redder, John. I was like,
Hey,
Well, that's because
here's
I was
what I
freaking
learned.
younger.
Here's what I learned. John had hair, and Scott didn't have a beard on some of those videos.
Yeah.
Scott was beardless. Now, don't let him hear me say that. He'll deny it. But
his
I have proof now.
before he was the bearded picker. Is that what you're saying?
Actually,
Understand something. All those videos you've seen, all those old videos that I totally forgot about, was Scott pushing me, and Chris Green pushing me, and Paul Runyon, and all the people, Alabama Picker, all them guys pushed me to have a channel because they all had channels, and we did this morning show together. And I really didn't want to, and I tried it, and I put one video up here or one video there or a couple videos up, and then just totally forgot about it. I couldn't even get in those accounts. I couldn't delete those videos if I wanted to. I don't even know how to get into them.
John, I have a channel where I am singing. I have a bunch of.
I'm gonna find that.
Oh, if I find that channel, there's going to be watch parties.
I shouldn't have talked. I have no clue how to delete them. I really can't.
That's funny.
That is.
Chrissy Reach says, having a hard time with labels. The first box I sent into Amazon took me over 4 hours.
Yeah, well, you know what? Just keep going because they'll get easier and easier. I mean, you know, like I was saying yesterday, it's been 2.5 years maybe since I had to do the 30 up. And that's, you know, these stickers that are like 30 on a page.
Yeah. I didn't, when I used the Dynamo.
Yeah, we do too, but what happened yesterday, my software, my computer, I had software and computer issues. We ended up having to do this, and it's a lot more work than
30 up labels suck.
Oh my gosh.
Once you go to Dymo and you go, if you had to go, oh man, I wouldn't want to go back.
And 3 of us doing it at the same time because I stayed home yesterday after after deleting my whole shipment thing. I mean, it was a disaster day yesterday, but we got through it.
It did. When I first sent my first shipment, and it took me forever to figure everything out. There are videos. I did a video on how to do a shipment. And I know Wick over at Flipping Junk did a video on how to do a shipment. And so if you need a refresher, you can go look those up. I don't have links or anything in it. But, by the way, Pat, I did make you a moderator.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let me look. I was John's first wrench in his room. And
you were my last one. But
then he doesn't want to do YouTube. I'm like, come on. Let me earn, I have a wrench for a reason.
Jeanette says, John, I remember you with Chris Green back in the very beginning. That's back when I had hair and there was red in the beard. And
you didn't even have a beard in some of those videos. I'm like, keep the beard,
John, when we were pushing you to get to 1,000, when you got serious about wanting to do YouTube again, I had saw those videos before. There's not much.
Not something. I want to reiterate. John wasn't hiding anything. I mean, It was there. It was there. I mean, it doesn't take an investigative reporter to find videos on YouTube. It's a pretty simple process. You type in John Chartier and they'll pop up. I mean, it's pretty simple.
It wasn't like I was. But listen, guys, I pray for that woman. I do, but I've been doing this a long time, and just like Gary V, I really don't have anything new to say.
Yeah.
If you ask me to tell you what it is, it's buy puzzles, put them in a package together, bundle them together, and send them in. It's not like a new thing. It was like when I walked by them in that video in Dollar Tree and went, oh, this is a great product. It's because I remembered doing them 10 years ago and totally had forgotten I had done puzzles in a bundle on Amazon. They were Disney Frozen puzzles when the first movie came out. That tells you how long ago it was that I sold them damn things.
The day you did that webinar with Scott, and I happened to be in the background, it's so simple, but it's something that most of us aren't going to think about how to do. And the process has worked for you for how long now? 8, 10, 12 years, something like that. And it's a great process. And once you learn it, if you use that information, I mean, it's so simple. It's silly, but it's not something that most of us think of.
And somebody earlier in the chat said something about I don't fluff people's egos.
You shouldn't.
I cut to the chase. I mean, you can sum me up in less than a page. Get off your ass and go to work. Figure out what works for you and do it over again. Once you figure out how to make $20 on eBay, you should be doing nothing but growing after that point. Because once you figure out how to do it once, you just do the same thing over again with something else and over again.
Obviously, there's things that have to change. I mean, you can't use. I mean, a lot of those old videos you were talking about Turbo Lister, you can't use that anymore, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Turbo Lister's out. You know, technology will change things,
Right.
but the process of doing
is the
doesn't
same.
change. I got off my ass and went to work. This week, I've put my head down and gone to work. There's things that I need to accomplish. So I shut off Facebook. I shut off the computers. I turned my phone off because people love to freaking call me when I'm in the middle of doing something. Seems like it's the only time I get a phone call is when I'm trying to concentrate. And I went to work. And it's amazing what you can get done if you shut all the noise out and put your head down and just work.
Well, you know, you said about fluffing egos. I mean, you named me Happy. So, I mean, I know you're a good guy.
So you feel like I was fluffing your ego?
That's right.
Dude, that was a right hook to your chin.
The first week when I said about meeting you down in Florida, you said 2 fat guys in a boat. I was like, wow, I just got to meet up. A month later, you were calling me Happy. See how we bonded? See how we bonded?
Yeah, and notice the first thing I did was get in frickin' Bertha and head across the country.
Exactly.
In the opposite direction?
In the opposite direction.
I want to say, I do want to encourage people, if you haven't checked out some of, you were on Resale Ronan's channel for a long time.
Yes.
Check out some of those old videos. They're really very informative. Now, some of your shipping options are changed and some of the technology stuff has changed, but the stuff that you guys were doing back then, even Scott, I mean, Scott was talking about the same things then as he is now. You know, he was hitting the road and he was finding the same kinds of items, different products.
We did the same thing. Listen, Scott and I have been friends for quite a while, and he does the same thing, and he will tell you that I do exactly the same thing as when we met. I picked up a few tips from him about some of the stores he shops in. I've given him some tips of stuff I found when he's out on the road, and he's like, "Oh, I pass 100 of those. I'll be stopping in for those." You know, he knew when I was out of Pop Rocks. He'd be like, "You off Pop Rocks?" Yeah. Oh, okay. He heard about the baby bottles the other day. He's got 60 of them up in his attic. He'll pull them down and list them. Him and I have worked together on stuff for years, and the guys on that show, we worked together. You know, one of the first people that sent me a message was Deb.
I wish Deb would do more content. She's not putting out a lot of content anymore, and she's one of the most informative people that I've pinching pesos, by the way.
She's very busy. I'm gonna hang out with her when the baby's born. It's a couple hours from her, and I'm going to drive down and hang out with her for a day or two.
Going back in those old shows, some names appear over and over again. And I remember somebody was giving a shout out to Mr. Sadie in one of those shows, and Mr. Sadie says
Mr. Sadie says he's known me longer than most people.
That's right. And so I encourage you guys to really go back and type in Resale Ronan or go back to Scott's early videos or go back to John's early videos if you can find them. There's a lot of golden nuggets in those videos that I wouldn't have known about had this woman not done what she did.
Yeah, like the unique products.
I'm probably going to go take all of, since she did all the research and found all the links. I'm probably going to go take all the links, make a little video, and put them up on my channel.
Hey, that would
so
be a great
people-
idea.
So people can see them. I'm not embarrassed about what I do. I've been doing this from nothing to where I am now. And I do the same thing. So it's not like anybody can say, well, he's changing this so that it looks good. No, I was grumpy back then too. If you go look at them videos, I have the same personality.
Yeah.
This isn't a persona for the camera.
No, it's not. Well, Chris and I have both met you in person. I don't know if Sue, have you ever met John in person?
Yeah.
Okay, he's
You
the
have?
same guy, ain't he?
Yeah, the year before at ASD, I had chatted with you back and forth on Messenger, and we were
Okay.
going to try and meet up for coffee. And then I'm at ASD, and it's like I hear that voice.
It's like when Jason T. Smith was
Never had a
speaking
chance
at
for coffee, but-
when Jason T. Smith was speaking at ASD, I knew like 5 minutes before I got to the booth that he was there. I mean, and John's similar. I mean, big booming voice, and you know when he's in a room.
I'm gonna record John today so we can see how grumpy he is.
I'll tell you.
Listen, I'll probably be in a pretty good mood today because the kids will be there, and I love hanging out with kids. I play with kids. We'll probably feed the donkeys and.
Thanks to you, John, I have 2 new employees. They're
Awesome.
now. Miley is gonna start taking the measurements for the shirts and the pants and all that. Mom is taking the pictures, and I'll just do the listings at the end.
I'll tell you, Chris, if you can get your kids involved at this age, you're going to teach them something that they can take with them when they get older. And that's when we went to Nashville and those children were there. That's probably the biggest thing I took from Nashville is there's a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old out there making their own way on eBay. And it's going to be something that they're going to be able to fall back on no matter what they do in life.
Yep.
Now they're going to know, okay, I can do this. And they're never going to have to want if they don't want to. And that impressed me so much that those children were doing that.
Yeah, actually, Miley, my 13-year-old, she wants to start a YouTube video, and all from alone. So I told him, well, if you guys want to get followers, resell.
Yeah,
you guys can start.
It would be great to see it from a younger person's perspective too.
Yeah.
And
Melissa says my bark is bigger than my bite.
It is. It is.
Until
John's
you
really,
there.
and I got to say, John's really a very kind-hearted person. And
I'm not sure he wants you to give that secret away.
I'm telling you.
I am. Listen. I am a good-hearted person, but if you poke the bear, I've had a rough life, and the bear will come out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you.
And it's not something that I'm proud of or that I like. And I tell people ahead of time, you're pushing the bear. Don't do that. Especially my children. My youngest daughter knows exactly where to poke to bring the bear out. And she does it. And I don't think she does it for entertainment. I think she does it because she wants to know that I'm still, she's my stepdaughter, but she still wants to know that I'm dad. Mm-hmm. When she needs me to be dad, she pokes at me to know that I'm still the one that's going to tell her just what I see. So
that's right. And my kids are the same way. They know, because I adopted my 2 older ones. And when they were younger, they used that against me. But now it's like the total opposite. And when they need something or they want somebody to tell them the truth, guess who they come to? They come to dad, because they know that I'm going to be there for them and tell them the way it really is in life, you know.
I'm looking for a book. I just bought my son.
But I got to say, John paid for my hotel at ASD. That's not a secret. He let me walk around with him just to absorb what he does. And bad people don't do that kind of stuff, you know. He was willing to tell me everything. I mean, I walked around with you. I watched you work with the distributors. I watched you, sit down with people and talk to them. I had full access, really. And it was, if you could ever get that opportunity, which you probably won't, but if you could get that opportunity from somebody, John, or somebody like John, or even Scott, or if you want to hang out with me, it's worth doing because you're going to learn so much. Because everybody does something a little bit different, even that one little nugget. But getting full access to John for ASD was just an amazing. Well, it was a confidence builder. It was a lot of lessons that I learned about how to do things and approach people. That was the biggest thing right there. How to approach people. And Dan did the same thing for me. Now Dan's new in this game, but Dan has a certain way of going about things that is way different. It's total opposite of what I would do, and I learned a lot from that. So it doesn't matter if it's John or Dan or Chris or Sue or any of us, anybody in the chat. If you all have a different aspect or a different way of looking at things, and if you can actually get together with somebody to do something, it'll change the way you do business.
Actually,
if you just take that,
actually do something, not just sit down and have a cup of, it's great to meet and have a cup of coffee and discuss things like we're doing now, but to actually do something like ASD, where we went out and we actually talked to vendors and things. When Scott came to you guys, went out to a store. When I was with Chris, the first thing I said was, he was like, show me something. I'm like, let's go. Where are we going? He said, well, there's a couple of estate sales. I said, let's go. Which one? Pick one. And we left and went to an estate sale. And although it didn't work out, I tried to help him develop a relationship with the guy. The guy turned out to be a schmuck. But
and that happens sometimes.
That happens in business. That happens. You got to be ready for somebody that shows you a pretty face and then turns out to be a total schmuck.
There was a vendor at ASD.
We went to thrift stores, and I showed him a couple of things in thrift stores, and he showed me a couple of things in thrift stores. He bought some speakers, and I was like,
I guess
he bought this Yamaha thing, telling me how pretty it was, and I'm like, dude, I know it looks nice, but the used ones aren't bringing the money they're asking for this thing. He bought it and he sold it for $200. I'm like, okay, man, I'm a believer.
Ching, right?
And he's done it twice. Two things I was like, no way, I would never buy them.
The speakers went for $250.
He sold both of them quick.
And the Yamaha went for $200.
Big money. So I can learn from the new people just as much as somebody can learn from me, man. I'm telling you.
It's more of watching somebody else do what they're comfortable with or they're familiar with and learning from that experience and not necessarily the items. I'm not going to go out today and buy the speakers that Chris bought. I'm not going to do that. But I might buy something similar or another product that, hey, I saw Chris do this. Maybe I should look at something like that in that genre up or something, and it doesn't matter what level. I learned from, I hung out with Ken Green at the yard sales, but I've hung out with him too. And his wife works at a particular store, and I've made a relationship with them. And every once in a while, he'll throw me a nugget. Okay, this is going on sale at this store. I mean, it doesn't matter who you make a relationship with, because you both can teach each other things. And we trade information back and forth all the time now. So it's great.
Yeah,
Jim and Tara in the chat. It's Tara, not Jim, but
it's Tara.
It's always Tara.
I think that's what was so cool about Nashville and or anywhere you can meet a bunch of different people that do a lot of different things. Because, you're in a room and you're listening and we're sitting at a big table and everybody does different things. And it's just so interesting how you pick up a nugget here and there. It might be something like, I'm probably never going to go to the junkyard and pick up car parts, but it was really interesting to see,
I'll tell you this.
Aspects of things.
There's money in them cookie presses. I have one that I got a list today.
Hey, John.
To Chattanooga, but I had 2 or 3 things I was going to say really quick. Earlier, when Chris was saying, he wished 2 years ago, 2 years ago, he would have met John or whatever. But you know what? I super believe in life. Things happen for a reason and the right timing. Yeah. Had you met him 2 years ago, something might have not clicked, or you just never know. It was the right time to meet him, and
it's true. I believe that too.
If I would have went to ASD 2 years ago, none of that would have mattered.
Mm-hmm.
None of it, because I wasn't even doing Amazon.
But Dan pushed you more than I did.
Dan gave me the confidence to actually make a purchase. You gave me the confidence to approach people.
I mean, you seen me doing it.
Yeah.
But you didn't do it yourself. But when you started to do it, Dan was there and gave you that last shot. So it was a combination of things there.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to run. I was supposed to be in a meeting 10 minutes ago, and they're asking me where the hell I'm at.
Well, you're doing something important. You're hanging out with me, John. You just tell them Steve had a show, and that's my first obligation.
You
That's what
guys,
you tell them.
You guys have a blessed day. Remember, get off your ass and go to work. I'm going to have to start pushing that like the Roll Tide thing. Chris, text me when you get to Vegas so I know that you're on your way here.
Sounds good.
All right, later, guys.
See you, John.
So one other thing I wanted to mention, you guys were talking about sort of fathers, but this is the best book you'll ever read.
It's a little tiny one.
Even if you're a mom. It's called Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. I just bought it for my son, and I told him it's the most important book you're ever going to read because he just had a daughter. Super, super good book. Get out of the library if you can't afford it. I don't know. I think it's in paperback now, too. So that was two things. Seems like there was one other thing I was going to say, and I can't remember. But I'm going to listen. I'll continue to listen, guys, but I'm going to...
I think we'll probably just wrap it up since
okay.
I'm sure we all have things to do.
Did you learn anything from me in Tennessee?
Actually, I did, to be honest with you. Pat has a certain way of, and you mentioned it on your show the other night. I was kind of lurking in the chat. I'm always lurking, by the way, Pat. And I don't go to bed early. But Pat has a certain, for YouTube, he's doing something that people aren't doing. He's traveling and meeting people that all of us would love to meet. What the Hales, you came to Nashville to meet all of us. You went to John's antique store. And I learned from you that you can be different on YouTube and do different things, and you're going to be really successful with that model, with that on YouTube. You will, because nobody else has the ability or the gumption to do things like that, and you do. So, yeah, I learned from Pat as well, and I learned that Pat's just a really nice guy.
I want to show you this a couple seconds.
Is that me?
Yep.
And that was a great time. I wouldn't have got to go. Look at who I was bowling with. Shane, Kevin, that's me, and then Pat's holding the camera. I mean, you don't get those kind of experiences without actually going out and doing things.
I was in the background picking up where you were throwing. Yeah, I was there too.
I don't know who that was.
That was the neighboring lane.
She bowls a lot like you, though, Pat.
That was a guy.
Whatever. No, that was a good time. We had a good time.
Part of what I do is I go to have a good time. Yeah. I know how to sell things on eBay. I know about Amazon, and part of what I'm doing is to go and really network and meet people, and doing my YouTube channel is to get people to come on and tell their story and introduce who they are. And I'll be honest, I enjoy it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I know Sue has things to do. Chris, you got to get on the road. I'm pretty sure.
Actually, I wanted to ask a favor if they can subscribe to my channel. I told
my wife, please do.
I told my wife like 30 people were going to subscribe. And if
we need to get Chris.
She's going to make fun of me.
We need to get Chris at 1,000 subs.
Chris, did you write in the chat?
Yeah, write something in the chat again, Chris. And then my chat went away on the side, so I can't put the link in. Can anybody do that?
If he types in the chat, you click the three dots to the right. Right. All right, guys.
I just wrote something in the chat.
There you go.
Click the three dots next to Chris's name. It's under Chris Olvera there. He wrote something. Make sure you subscribe. Chris has some really good content. I watched your video last night about just your setup, and I'm like, wow, how organized! Very organized. And
my wife did all the work there.
And she did a great job. So you don't want to see my organization. But so we'll wrap it up here. Make sure if you guys aren't subscribed to Sue or Pat, I'm sure everybody is. But if you're not, do that too. But let's get Chris over so he can get monetized, because I think, Chris, you've got something unique there too. So you have a unique perspective on things. So thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna end this now, and Have a good
There's-
day. I can't say Roll Tide. That's not my thing.
Give a sister a step up. That's right.
There you go.
We'll say Roll Tide for Scott. What the heck?
Bye, guys.
Roll Tide.
And